So I don't know if you guys have been following the NHL this year, but there is a new team, kind of. The Utah Hockey Club relocating from the Arizona Coyotes. So far this season have actually been pretty decent. Now we're almost halfway through the year, and I thought it'd be a good idea to make a kind of little bit of a video here evaluating Utah's season so far and my overall thoughts. Because for those who do not know, for those who may be first time watchers here, I am a former Arizona Coyotes fan who has transferred into rooting for the Utah Hockey Club this year. So I do have some thoughts. So far this season, the Utah Hockey Club, again, it's been hard for me to transfer over to from Coyotes to Utah. I'll get used to it. But the Utah Hockey Club, 16, 13, and 6 so far this season for 38 points. They are 20th in the NHL. They are 5th in the Central, 10th in the conference, and they're only a couple points back of a wild card spot right now. The only problem is that they are in a very competitive Central Division, and if they were in the Eastern Conference, they would be much closer to a wild card spot right now, but just because it's a very competitive Western Conference, they're a little bit further out than they would be, but regardless, it's still been a very good season so far by this team, because again, the previous years in Arizona, you may forget it, but they weren't that great. And especially, you look at last season, you take out that 14-game losing streak that they went on, they were a team that was like in contention for the playoffs. They were right in there. They were in there as a wild card team, and then the relocation rumors happened. They dropped 14th in a row, completely took them out of the race. And now they're back in it. And I think that this year has been a much better year for this team. They are around a lot better leadership and a better organization, as you can clearly tell. And it's been giving them a big impact on the ice. You look at some of the advanced analytics. Well, not really that advanced, but they have scored 103 goals, have led in 103. So they have a zero difference right now in the NHL when in terms of goal differential, which is pretty interesting. There aren't a lot of teams who have that. I think they're actually the only team. Again, that will vary from game to game. Like, they could literally win 2-1 and that will change. They could score one goal and that changes. Like, again, it fluctuates throughout the season. But still pretty cool to see them at a rate like that. They are 5-7-4 at home. I figured their road record would be, or their home record would be a little bit better, but it's hasn't really been this year. And then they are 11-6-2 on the road, which is not bad. I think that's a pretty good road record when you look in terms of some of the other teams around the NHL, and they're winning a lot of their games on the road as well, but they have been good at home too. I can't discredit them. They've been solid at home. It's just that, again, this team is in a transition. They're still not like the team that we are expecting them to become. They still need to contend. They still need to build some of their prospects, some of their players up, maybe go out and get someone in free agency, but they're definitely there for sure. They're getting closer and closer as the years go on. In terms of goals for, goals against, and all that stuff, they have scored 2.49 goals per game, which is ranked 21st. They have allowed 2.89 goals against per game, which is ranked 12th. They have a 21.8 power play percentage, which is ranked 17th. And they have an 80.2 penalty kill percentage, which is 16th. So the only two things that are above average or average on that sheet is the penalty kill and the goals against. Goals for, they've been actually kind of struggling outside of their two main players, which I'll get into here in a second. And with power play, again, when you can't really score offensively, your power play isn't that great, but it's still it's only a little bit below average. So it's not like it's terrible. It's still pretty solid by NHL standards. When you look in terms of the players who have been scoring on this roster, again, it's a lot of the guys from Arizona last season. Clayton Keller leading the way as the captain of this team with 13 goals, 23 assists for 36 points. I expected this from a mile away. We knew that Clayton Keller was going to be, Clayton Keller, to be honest with you. So I'm not surprised there at the slightest. Dylan Guenther, second in scoring, though. 16 goals, 16 assists for 32 points. He leads the team in goals. Him and Keller, again, are the only two players who have scored more than 10 goals this season. And that's a plus and a negative at the same time, because honestly, you look in terms of, you want your guys to be scoring all across the board, and they really haven't gotten that outside of, a few guys, but there are some players who have racked up some goals this year in the depth chart. They definitely look a lot better, like when you look in terms of down the middle, even though they do only have 2 players with more than 10 goals this season. But yeah, Gunther's been really impressive. He signed that contract at the beginning of the season, and we said to ourselves, yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. I wasn't a huge fan of the move, I was being honest. Like, I wasn't like too into it. I was like, yeah, it's a good deal, but he has to prove himself. And that's really what we've been waiting from Gunther throughout his entire career so far. But the season before that, he looked solid, just wasn't in the NHL enough. And then this year, he's proven that he is worth that money for sure. As well as that, too, Logan Cooley, just behind him, 8 goals, 23 assists, 31 points. Hasn't been scoring as much as I'd like him to be, but he's still playing at a really good rate there as Utah's #1 center. I think Cooley has been great, 3rd overall pick. He has the most even strength points of any player on this team. If I'm being honest, I'm pretty sure that's a true stat. But yeah, he has been really impressive this year for Utah and has been somebody who I've really enjoyed watching. As well as that too, Nick Schmaltz. He went forever without a goal. He went forever, and then recently he's kind of picked up a ton. Has 6 goals, 22 assists for 28 points. But again, he went so long without scoring a goal. I was like, holy crap, dude, you just gonna pass the puck all season, get 82 assists? Like, I was like, holy crap. But then he finally picked some up and started scoring a little bit more and started playing better. But yeah, Schmaltz, still a good player. I actually wondered for a while, like, are we going to trade him? I still think that's a possibility. But again, we would have to benefit heavily. I don't think we're at that stage now where, like, we can trade players for future assets. I don't think we're that team anymore. We're trying to get better. We're trying to contend, especially with somebody like Ryan Smith at the helm. That's for damn sure. As well as that too, Barrett Hayton, 7 goals, 7 goals, 9 assists for 16 points. He's been all right this year. Again, I still want to see a little bit more out of Barrett Hayton. He's struggled at points in his career and this season, but I think I just need some more out of him, to be honest. Jack McBain, good like bottom 6 depth. 9 goals, 5 assists, 14 points. 9 goals for McBain, was acquired in that Minnesota trade a couple years ago back when they were Arizona. He has been one of my favorites to watch on this team, a great 4th liner. Again, I love the guy. He's been very entertaining to watch there on Utah as well. Additionally, Alex Kerfoot has been with the team for about 2 seasons now. He has 5 goals, 7 assists, 12 points. Kevin Stenlund, 6 goals, 4 assists, 10 points. So again, like the 4th line depth getting in there. And then somebody who has really struggled this year, and it's really been a huge concern. And I'm leaving off a couple guys on this list too that have also struggled. But Matias Maccelli, 3 goals, 7 assists for 10 points this season with Utah. The transition has not been ideal. He's been getting a little bit more limited ice time. He has just not been producing, and it's actually pretty concerning because we saw in previous seasons that Maccelli was a massive steal from that 2019 draft. Again, I'm making a little series on my TikTok feed about biggest steals and busts of each draft, and I put Maccelli in steal, but honestly, he's been kind of struggling recently, so I don't know. But hopefully, again, there's a whole other half of the season. There's a lot of time for him to turn this around. Hopefully we see that then, but I'm not too encouraged by what I've seen so far with him. When you look at the blue line, I want to put a little bit of an asterisk because the blue line has been injury depleted. There have been a lot of players they've had to acquire via trade, call up from the minors to play up here. I only included 4 of their defensemen. First off, Mikhail Sergachev has been awesome. 8 goals, 19 assists, 27 points. We're getting what was advertised. What we saw with Tampa is what we're getting now with Sergachev, and that shouldn't surprise any of you guys to the slightest. We knew that Sergachev was going to be a really good number 2 defenseman. Well, he's our number 1, but he was a good number 2 aside Hedman, and getting him over here, he has been awesome for us. And he's what we needed, if we're being completely honest. As well as that too, Michael Kesselring. Kesselring was somebody last year who played last season with the Coyotes. I think he was a rookie. He's looked good this year. Like, he's gotten a lot of ice time with the guys who've been hurt, and he's looked good. 4 goals, 11 assists for 15 points this season. He's been one of my favorites to watch this year, and he's been one of those benefits with the injuries that we've seen to guys like Sean Dursey, Maverick Lamoureux, Ollie Mata, etc. Those guys who have been hurt. So it truly has been awesome to watch a guy like Kesselring perform like we know how he can. As well as that too, Ian Cole, 1 goal, 8 assists, 9 points. Ian Cole was a third pairing defenseman when he was brought in. It's been okay. And then Kolyachuk. I think I'm saying that right. Kolyachuk. I think I'm saying it. I probably not. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points this year with Utah too. Again, was somebody who was like a 7th defenseman in my eyes, but has gotten time in the NHL. So, hey, I'll take it. I mean, I like somebody like him. Again, we are waiting for a player like Simashev to come over and for Lamoureux to stay healthy. That's like our blue line. That's our blue chip pieces right there. When you look in terms of the guys on the back end, like it's them, Sergachev, and Dursey. So we'll see where that goes, obviously. I'm playing that by ear because we don't know when he's going to come over, Simashev, because he's in the KHL. Anyway, look at the goaltenders here. These are some very interesting goalies who have all had their points of struggles this season. Kirill Vejmelka has been pretty good this year, though. 8-9-2 with a 6.32 goals against, a 2.32 goals against. That would be bad. A .918 save percentage. He has been great this year for Arizona. Or, there I do it. I went all video without saying it. Utah. Again, he has one of the better expected goals against, or expected goals saved above average in anybody in the NHL. I know advanced analytics are like, they're not like a known thing, but they are a known thing. But again, they're not known amongst like fans like some of you people may be witnessing. But honestly, yeah, that's a really good number, and it's shown that he saved a lot of goals that he probably would be letting in otherwise. So he has been awesome for Utah. Connor Ingram, not so much. 6-4-3 though, a 3.61 and a .871. The fact that he has a winning record with those other underlying numbers and Vejmelka has a losing record with his is beyond me. But yeah, again, he's been this season. He's been on and off for me. And then Jackson Stauber, who was somebody who I'm going to be honest, I didn't really know who he was. And that's surprising for someone like me who studies hockey as much as I do. But Jackson Stauber was 2-0-1 this year with a 1.96 and a .928. Again, those are in 3 games, so you got to kind of take that with a grain of salt. He's more or less their third string, but he has come in and played a little bit, and he's looked good. Like I really like how the kid's played. He also has the first ever shutout in Utah Hockey Club history. That is a trivia question and a half. I'm the only one who's going to know that down the road. But yeah, that's this team basically. I think that this team has looked better than I would have anticipated. I'm going to be honest. I did say in the offseason and on podcasts and all that I said that it's possible that they make the playoffs, but I wasn't like buying into it. And I figured they would be around where they are right now. They would be competing, they would be competitive, and I was like, hey, I'm okay with that. And I think with what I've seen so far was about what I've expected, a little bit more. So I'm happy. I'm very happy as a now Utah fan, former Coyotes fan, I guess. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Comment your thoughts on Utah, how you felt they've been this season. I know I didn't go through the whole roster, so if you want to comment on like Carcone or any of the other guys that are on this roster, feel free to down below. But thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like it. If you like the video, subscribe down below if you really like the video, and that does it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.